The presenting sponsor of Moontower Soccer is FVF Law.
To find out what makes FVF a different kind of injury law firm, you can visit fvf.law.
Hello, friends, and welcome to SWOONTOWER Soccer. I'm Mike Cragnola.
I'm Steph Cragnola.
And we are all about the boys.
It has been a busy month.
Oh, boy.
And we're gonna push ourselves through.
Yeah. No rotation.
No.
Us and the players.
Yeah, it's too real. We are going to start with a recap on our Vancouver and Houston Open Cup matches. We're going to go through a Matchscot, fit checks, match moods, goal sellies, and social media standouts, as well as give a little Minnesota preview for this weekend.
Yeah. And then, of course, because we would never forget, we're going to hear about the man of Steph's jersey.
Oh, yeah, we are. And y'all are going to like it this week.
They
or
like
else.
It every week. Speaking of things they like, let's get into it. Let's talk to this Matchscot terracotta. Shout out to Eliza, who we met before interviewing terracotta. She really inspired me.
I am obsessed with terracotta.
Me too. What a perfect dog.
I need you to adopt her now.
I can't.
No, I was saying you to our audience.
Oh, the royal you.
Yeah, if I was talking to you, I would have looked at you.
You're right. All right, listen to this interview.
Hey, Terracotta. We've got some questions for you today, okay? My first question is, if the stadium weren't built out of concrete and whatever else material is in here, what would you want it to be made out of? Yeah, that would look so beautiful.
Terracotta, I want to know, oh my God, are you the most perfect dog in the whole world?
Okay, Terracotta, can you give us a listos verde? Good girl.
See?
10 out of 10 wet. Wettest interview ever.
Maybe second wettest interview ever.
What was the first?
Oatmeal.
I had to wash my phone.
Yeah, but oatmeal left bubbles.
That's
on
true.
Your phone.
That's true. That's true. We got a lot of wet dogs lately. They're the best.
Wet dogs 2025.
All right. Speaking of wet dogs,
I can't wait to hear how you transition to fit checks from that.
you know the smell when you're like, oh, there's a wet dog in the area, and you're like, kind of gross, but like most people like don't really aren't super bothered by it because they're like, oh, it's a dog, like whatever, they get wet.
I think wet dog is a pretty horrible smell for everyone.
And I think that khaki is a pretty horrible color
For everyone?
for most people. And let me tell you, the Vancouver fit checks were full of khaki. It was like they all texted each other and they were like, wear your khaki today.
I see one.
Watch the video. Watch the video. You're going to watch several pairs of khaki pants go by. Okay? That's 1, 2 shirts that are khaki. Then Svatok's all in brown.
That's not khaki.
And then
brown isn't
hold
khaki.
on, I said
Yellow
in brown. Okay,
isn't
1,
khaki.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At the end, did you see?
There is a lot at the end there.
I told you.
You're right.
I know, but you know who wasn't wearing khaki and who was the best dressed on the night? And I've never said this before.
Who?
John Gallagher.
That's true.
You got to zoom in because there's like texture and pattern on his pants that you can't really see if you're not zoomed in, but he's got this like crochet top, I love those, and then he's got these like plaid-ish blue pants. Impeccable style.
Yeah, looks really good.
Yep.
Great work, John. Also loving the length of the waves in his hair there.
Mm-hmm. His hair's
strong.
looking good.
Yep. Hair game strong from John Gallagher this week.
All right. We've got a nice, fun game to play with our Houston fit checks, but you have a note here before we get started.
Yes. Before we get started for Houston, I think it's important that we crown the winner of the Houston fit checks ahead of time, ahead of the game. And so this week, the Houston fit checks crown Maybe Tiara goes to a Hot Air O'Brien's daughter with her game day fit. Absolute fire. The
Knocked
custom
it out of the
jersey, the skirt with it, the shoes, the big round black sunnies. Like, oh, so cute.
She's so cute.
Superstar, A+++.
10 out of 10.
Lo mejor.
Okay. So now we are getting to our game of the night. And as I was scrolling through, well, should we just play the game and I can talk about the inception of the name of it?
You should introduce the game and then we'll play it.
Great.
And then we'll talk about it.
Okay. So this game is called Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And we are going to take these fit checks from before the Open Cup match, and we are going to categorize them. Are they a father? Are they a son? Or are they a Holy Spirit? Would you like to give your take, starting with Brandon Vasquez?
Yeah, I think Brandon Vasquez is a weekend dad.
Yep.
So I guess he falls in father.
Yes, correct. He's where I have him too.
Great.
All right. We're going next in this photo set to Brad Stuver.
Also father.
Also dad. Yep. Father.
This is a wrinkly black t-shirt that, like, this is a shirt that he clearly wears mowing the lawn.
Yep.
You can tell by the fade.
Okay. Next up, Bukhari.
Osman, I think this picture is giving son.
Same with me. And I think it's because of the gathering around the feet, because his pants just look too long for him. He looks like he's not grown into them yet.
So, yes, these pants look like what I wore when I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what it is. Also, I know it's super in style to have the shoulder hem of your shirts like come halfway down your bicep like that.
Yep.
But it just makes the shirt look too big for you.
Agree.
To me. And I know it's cool, and like I'm old because I don't think it's right.
Yeah. No, I am totally with you. He just looks like a little boy whose clothes are too big for him. And his little smile, like, he's just so pure.
It's a cute fit.
Yeah.
It's just...
Oh, yeah. This isn't judging the fits. It's just judging the vibes of the category.
Yes.
Okay. Next up, we've got Jean Kolmanich.
Yeah, Jean, this outfit is screaming Holy Spirit.
Sure
me.
is.
This is giving, like, beach, let me buy you a drink.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, he comes up to you at the cabana.
Yep.
And you let him buy you a drink.
You sure do. This is peak Holy Spirit. Next,
Son.
Owen Wolf.
Yeah.
A son. Yes.
Owen, I think Owen, to me, is going to have son energy for longer than he should.
I think that especially with taking the like frosted tips out, he looks like less of a like butthole. You know, like he has a little bit, he has a little bit more of that like youthful innocence.
Yep.
All right. Julio Cascante.
Also son.
You're wrong, but I hear you especially if we're using the same like category, but he's a Holy Spirit.
If I'm judging him on the same criteria, because he's wearing the same clothes but brown as Osman Bukhari is.
Yeah, but there's a vibe. There's a vibe, and this is a Holy Spirit. I don't think there is a photo of Julio where he's not in this category.
Okay.
John Gallagher.
This, honestly, this is like match fit 2 for John Gallagher, where he fits into that Holy Spirit category for me.
No.
I
You
think the fitted black shirt is so good.
I hear you.
With
I think
the like white linen pants is a great look.
Yeah, and that like the pants really like almost pushed me into Holy Spirit for him, but end of the day, I still put him in father zone, just because like I could see this as like a dad who like married into the country club.
Yeah, but look
and
at the
is
look
trying
he's
really
giving.
hard to like, yeah, he's squinting because he forgot his sunglasses.
I disagree, but we'll
That's
move
okay.
on.
We're allowed. Another interesting one, CJ.
Yeah. This one, I feel bad because it really gives like a very specific dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Massachusetts.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. A very North Shore.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
With the chain.
I want to say divorcee, but like it feels so harsh.
It is harsh, but it is also true.
And so, yeah, CJ falls in father for me here.
Yeah, that's fair. I ended up putting him in son because I wasn't thinking like that Massachusetts vibe. I was thinking that kind of like dirtbag teenager.
Yeah, but the slick back hair is so
Yes.
dad.
It is so like Jersey, Boston, Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I might be swayed for you there. Okay. Another contesting one?
No, I don't think so. I think this is Holy Spirit
Okay.
100%.
Okay. I just knew you hated it when you looked at it. This is Basard Savovich.
I did not hate it. I said, what is it?
Oh, sure.
And I think there's a difference between hate and struck.
Sure. Yes.
And I was struck at
Yes.
first. And as I have looked at this picture more frequently,
Mm-hmm.
I think I am in on this crazy shirt where the sleeves are crocheted and the middle is a regular white t-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hard in on Holy Spirit here. So I'm glad you've come around. All right. This one isn't even fair. Nico.
Oh, he's
He's
born
son.
a son. He will die a son.
Yes.
My son.
He is my son. And then we have a couple other contenders. We had a picture of Svatok in the video, who is Eternal's son with his little shorts on.
Yep. Yeah, it's another shorts and polo shirt. This time matching colors,
Yep.
which really gives son vibes.
Yep. And then we also have a picture that they did not post of Hader.
Yeah, this one is really tough for me because
Yeah.
for folks at home, he is wearing a black short sleeve denim snap shirt with black embroidered flames on it.
Yep.
And black cargo jorts
Yeah.
and like a lot of jewelry,
Yeah.
a substantial amount of jewelry.
I'm going Holy Spirit.
I think Hader thinks this is a Holy Spirit look.
I agree. And because he's selling it to me, I'm buying it.
Okay.
The face is selling it. He's so confident.
He is unbelievably confident. I think this would 100% be a Holy Spirit look if this were a romper.
Oh,
If this were an
yes.
all black denim romper,
Yeah.
that I think would push it over the line from Father into Holy Spirit.
Yep. No, I think that's totally.
And so for me, that's a Father look.
Yep. I love it. Y'all let us know. Let
If
us know
you
if you
liked
want. Yeah.
this
Did you
game.
like Father, Son, and Holy Spirit? Basically, I was looking through the pictures and I saw BV and I saw Brad and I was like, they're such dads. And then I got to Jean and I was like, that's a daddy. And then as I was looking through, because like then I got to Owen and I was like, oh, that is a child. And so that's where this segment came from. Let
Yeah.
us know if we should continue playing.
I mean, we'll play either way. Let us know if we should record it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Steph, let's get into a lot of match moves.
We got a
here.
lot of match moves.
The past couple of matches to me have, and honestly, even including now that we are 3 matches away from it, including the Minnesota match.
Mhm.
No,
Atlanta?
now that we're 3 matches away from it, including the Atlanta match, have all felt like steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
The way Atlanta ended, obviously a gut punch, but like there was stuff to build on. And I think in Vancouver, we saw that. And I think in Houston, we saw kind of like a full culmination of those things, right?
Yep.
And so I don't know about you, but I have found a lot more enjoyment out of the things happening on the field than I have in the past few weeks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
To that point, like I'm jumping ahead a little bit on this, but you called out about 30 minutes into the match, is this fun?
Yeah, I feel like what I've been hearing a lot of, even while we were winning in the beginning of the season, is a lot of people saying like, but it's not fun soccer. And I was struggling to understand kind of what that means. What is fun soccer to like more people than just me? And then I realized I didn't know what it was for me. And so while I was watching Vancouver, I kind of had that realization that like I was having fun watching.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, it was a really fun match, and there was a lot of fun things happening, a lot of cool ball movement, a lot of like quick possession and like purposeful things happening, right? It was really fun to watch. But like the vibe was also fun from the beginning.
Absolutely. Weirdest thing that I may have ever seen in the stadium, Jesper Sorensen. How was that, right? Nailed it. Was it? You say it.
Jesper Sorensen.
Great. Was just wandering around eating a little protein bar.
Just eating
during
snacks.
warm-ups. Like Landon called it out, and I realized I've never seen a head coach out there during warm-ups, and he was saying that it's because they don't usually come out. They usually like that's not their time. You're not going to land a double axel in the warm-up, so like you don't need your coach out there. So watching him just like watch the stands, like he was watching the south end, he was like looking up at the boxes, he was chomping away on his little bar. He
was watching the players shooting on Brad, like he was just taking it all in. It was crazy.
Taking it all in. It felt like he wanted to experience the stadium atmosphere. And I thought that was awesome.
You know what I thought was awesome?
What?
Julio's calf stretch routine.
I would love ever in my life to be as dedicated to something as Julio is to stretching his calves. They're no joke. You don't want to tear your Achilles, Mike.
No, you would never want that. Trust me. So, ask me how I know.
So aren't you like so astonished by the commitment that Julio has? I was watching Julio during warm-ups, and like I think it's really funny to watch Julio in games that he knows he's not going in for, because he just stands there and watches everyone.
Doesn't do.
He's got his foot up on the ball.
Anything.
And he just like, I swear for like 20 minutes, he didn't move.
He just stood there. He just stood there watching everyone else working out.
It was awesome.
It was insane.
It felt, and again, I said this to Mike in the stadium, that I probably am projecting as someone who did not love to practice. That like, he just loves playing soccer, and like the warm-up part of it, it's like, it's boring. Working out is boring. I said it. I'm so brave.
Wow.
But it is. It's boring. No one likes it. We could all use
your bravery.
So, hats off to Julio for owning that about himself. Another fun warm-up to watch was Jean and Hader. They were doing a little like, what do you call it? Like keep up?
Yep.
And they were like using anything but their feet. Like Jean hit it with his butt a couple times. They were just like having fun warming up and teasing each other if the ball fell on the ground. And it was just really great to see the two of them, because that's not a pair I would have put together.
As like a couple of silly gooses together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I liked it. I liked seeing it.
Something I really liked, and this is so stupid, but in the 32nd minute, Owen had a set piece play that he was going to kick the ball on the set piece, and the way that he let everyone know what play they were doing is he put his arms out like he was like, I'm king of the world from like Titanic. He looked like Leo DiCaprio out there for a minute, and it just struck me as so funny that I had to like grab a note about it when he put his arms out like that.
He's almost too old for Leo now.
Oh yeah, he's coming up on the limit.
The age cap, yeah. Speaking of
too old for Leo,
yeah, Brad Stuber.
Yeah, one of the things that always jumps out to me is when players who like overall have a really good reputation in the league doing little gamesmanship things. And I think Brad Stuver is the perfect example of this in this game. The ball ends up being a foul deep in Austin's end of the stadium. And it should have been a free kick from like way back, really close to the end line. But Brad picked the ball up and put it at the edge of his box. Like, oh, it's a goal kick because it went out of bounds out of the back of the box. And the ref was like, no, it was a foul. You have to take it from where the foul happened. And so Brad just argued about where to place the ball. The ref was like, yeah, okay, fine. Put it at the top of the box, but like over on the side. And then Brad stole like an extra 3 yards.
Yep.
Like in front of his box by walking at a diagonal to put the ball down. And it was awesome.
Amazing.
It was so good. Just those little like gamesmanship things that players think they have to do to like get an edge.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating.
Yeah, we'll get to another really great instance of that in a few minutes. But a couple other things from this match, you know, as we're watching the subs warm up in our section, it never gets old to watch Hader never getting tired of the supporter section. Like it never gets old to him and it never gets old to us watching him. It's just it's so sweet. We had a lot of really fun stuff in that warm up area. In the Vancouver match.
He times his runs and his like leg stretches to the beat of the music that's playing. It's so cute.
And they also they have a new little warm up added, which I really liked. They face each other, one person running backward, one person running forward, and they like push each other. It's very silly and very cute. And I want to say I really like the new warm up coach. The sub coach is amazing. He got a yellow card during the Vancouver match because he was big mad. He's
screaming,
very emotional,
at the line judge.
I love him.
Speaking of yelling, in this match there was a moment where Svatak was yelling at Mirto Uzuni to be smart and use his head, and like Svatak is yelling and like pointing to his head really hard, and Mirto is just like, no, you're right, and like gives him a thumbs up and like focuses on listening to him, which I think it's cool seeing this guy who has come into the league in, under a year now, starting to lead the team the way that he has.
Yes.
Just really neat to see.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little more as we transition into our Houston Open Cup match.
Yeah. First off, this was like spice level 100.
Yes.
This is a spicy match from the jump. I think the Houston away match, Houston was really spicy, and Austin looked like they were just taking it for so much of that match.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like in this match, they were giving it back as much as they were taking it.
Yeah. We'll talk about some specific moments in a minute, but you have a note here?
Yeah. It says in quotes, calcetin.
Mm-hmm.
Steph, why is that?
I don't want to talk about it. It's not my fault that I'm legally blind. And I thought this man's jersey said calcetin, and I thought it was really funny that his name was Sock.
Yep.
What was his name, Mike?
His name was Kowalczyk.
So that's close.
Yep. Close enough.
Anyway, we're done with that note. Bullying me.
Yeah, speaking of bullying, though, I wanted to call out Landon Cottam bully attack at Ben Olsen, the coach of Houston Dynamo, who at one point, Landon turned back to us and said, I think Ben Olsen's having a heart attack on the side of the field. He's just losing his mind.
Yeah.
And dear listener,
he was.
He was.
Yeah. Losing his mind.
Losing his mind, not a heart attack. Yeah.
Hopefully not. Okay, so this is where we get a real true masterclass in Wellhousery and also those little advantages Mike was talking about earlier. So Julio Cascante gets a red card. Ridiculous. Like, we watched it back this morning. I think it's a yellow. I do not think it's dog-so, but we'll let Landon and Jeremiah talk about that for real on Monday. Anyway, the ref shoots his little shaving cream line onto the pitch. Guilherme Biru immediately just like leans down and wipes it off.
The whole line. He just like when the ref turned his back, he just wiped it off. Disappeared. All gone.
Oh, there's no line. It must have been here.
and they took 2 steps forward. The whole line took like 2 steps forward together. It was awesome.
An icon.
Awesome. The fact that we got away with it, brilliant.
Yeah.
And like ended up being really good because the wall stopped the ball.
Yep.
So great job, Biru.
Yeah.
Additionally, the second Griffin Dorsey came on the field, Guilherme Biro just started beating him up,
Yep.
pushing him, shoving him, shoulder checking him. And the second that Dorsey would respond, Biro ran to the line judge to be like, did you see what
that?
just happened to me? Can you believe it? Like, oh, so good.
I love that man so much.
It's clear that he's been listening to and watching Diego Rubio, who did the exact same thing. The moment he came on the field, just started bullying Brooklyn Reigns. I saw Diego warming up, and I was like, I wonder who he's going after. It was Brooklyn Reigns, who already had a yellow card, and so clearly, like, attacked the man who is closest to getting knocked out of the game, right?
Yep.
And so he's running his mouth, he's pushing him, he's like just being so annoying. And anytime Brooklyn would react to it, Diego would run back to the ref so that Brooklyn was yelling at Diego or like pushing Diego directly in front of the ref to see.
Brilliant.
Oh my God, so good. And then like he would do a circle and like get really far from the ref and get out of his sight and start running his mouth at Brooklyn Reigns again and pushing him again and then like loop back to the ref again for the retaliation. It was, excellent.
And it worked.
It did work.
Incredible. We mentioned Svatak taking more of a leadership role. He did get the captain armband when Julio was sent off, and he really seems to have earned it. Yeah. There was a lot of there was one moment, I think it was Nico, where Nico started to get in a fight, and Svatak ran up behind him, like so intimidating.
Yeah, and just like did a and like you could see him put his hand over Nico's whole face to like calm him down.
Yep. Like some hypnotizing technique.
Yeah, and then just like death stared Houston away.
Ugh.
So awesome.
So good. And like that's a kind of personality I really like seeing from Svatak. And it felt like the start of the season he had lost some of that. We were so excited about it after we saw him versus Diego in the preseason. But now it's like, it looks like it's coming through.
Yeah, he's back, baby.
Yeah, we're
back.
All right.
Speaking of back, we got some goals. Let's talk about them.
Yeah.
Steph, how many times can we describe the exact same Brandon Vasquez celebration?
I would say 6 out of 10 times.
Great. The thing that puts it over to a 7.5 is the moment that he shared with John Gallagher doing the Anton Walk celebration together as they were running back to the center line because John had assisted that goal. That was really nice.
That was really special. All right. Then the sweetest celebration, Usman Bukhari taking the penalty, which was just pure class from Brendan Vasquez. Bolts it in and then has the cutest like
sigh of relief,
almost surprise. Yeah,
it, like his like celebration looked like he's like breathing in, breathing out. I don't know what it necessarily means, but that's what it like looked like to me. Is like I can take a breath now, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like slamming the crest against his chest. Love to see that.
And the thing that really like pushed this celly over for me was how happy everyone was for him. You saw Brendan Vasquez running over and like pointing at him like to the fans, and that like everyone piling on. Ilie giving him a big old kiss on his head. That was another match mood that I wanted to talk about and forgot to, is Ilie hugged every single person on the pitch before the match started and every single person as he came off.
Yeah. He just has so much love to give.
Yeah. I'll give this like a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, I think if it weren't for the kiss, it would be a 6.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the kiss, it's a 7.5.
All right, Ilie.
It was fine.
Yeah. I wanted more.
I wanted so much more.
Gonna be a 6 out of 10 for
5.
me. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
It
wasn't really anything.
Right. it was the one time I wish we weren't sitting in our curse-breaking seat.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because it happened right in front of where we would normally sit, but because the Open Cup, we have been sitting in some curse-breaking seats instead.
Yep.
And it's been working.
Yeah. So maybe he was just so surprised.
That
maybe
we
he's
weren't
not
there.
a celebrator.
Maybe he looked up and didn't see us there and was like, oh, I'm just not going to do the backflip
Yeah, maybe.
that I've been saving for this moment for Swoon Tower.
I do also want to add another match mood that I forgot was watching Ilya barefoot on the pitch after the match, walking around signing autographs and taking selfies.
God, it was so cute
Yep.
seeing how excited he was for the win and like how much joy and pride he took out of that win. Like
Yeah.
it felt like, oh, this is the team that I know we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, couple social media standouts. Congratulations to the Tottenham Hotspur for their first trophy in 18 years.
Yeah. Massive shout out from Jimmy Farkland.
Yeah.
Because JimmyTime is Spurs time, apparently.
And that makes me so happy.
He shared out their Europa League win with like tears in his eyes emojis.
Yep.
I think that's so cute if Jimmy's a Spurs fan.
Me too.
Something that jumped out on We Are Austin this week is the interview with Brandon Vasquez about giving Bukhari the PK. And like he's basically just like, he deserves it, man. He's working so hard, and I know what it's like to be in what feels like a downward spiral when you're not scoring, you know?
Yep.
Brandon having that perspective is just so cool.
Yeah, a real leader.
Yep.
And then more leadership. Leading the
Food
comment
leadership.
section.
Yeah.
Jean Kolmanich posted an Instagram post, recent tings, and CJ Fodre commenting,
Sweet baby CJ.
steaks tonight? Like, okay.
He's trying to get some steaks, dog.
Yep.
Sometimes
Someone
you
feed
win,
him.
You win some games and you wanna eat some steaks.
It's just so cute. Like, you can just see them, all the like young guys on the team, just like sitting around grilling at CJ's house.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one with the house and the grill that everyone comes over to
Oh, for sure.
because he has a cute dog.
Shout out to Adrian for seeing this and sharing it out. Love that vibe.
Yeah.
Also, if you haven't listened to the emergency drop of the emergency podcast, absolutely do that. Listen to what Ilya had to say after the match to Moises and Phil over at Emergency Podcast. Highly recommend it. Get ready to run through a wall.
You want to take an ad break?
Let's do it.
Swoon Tower Soccer is brought to you by our friends at FVF Law, the official injury lawyers of Austin FC.
FBF is a different kind of personal injury law firm dedicated to community, transparency, and client education. And they have their own podcast called Summary Judgment. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts.
You can go to FVF.law to find out what makes FVF a different kind of injury law firm and why understanding your legal options can dramatically change the outcome of a case. Once again, that's FVF.law.
That was dramatic.
Yeah, they're dramatic.
No, they're lawyers.
I said what I said.
Our premier sponsor is McGuire Woods Consulting, helping clients in the public affairs space from lobbying at the local, statewide, and federal levels to digital and communications campaigns across the country.
McGuire Woods Consulting has offices in 10 MLS cities, but only advertises on this podcast because we're going to the quarterfinals of the Open Cup, baby.
Let's go.
Contact our friends at McGuire Woods Consulting at www.mwcllc.com for more information.
Did it good, Stephanie.
Thank you. We are getting a heat reprieve this weekend as the boys head up to Minnesota. Or I guess the boys are getting a heat reprieve this weekend. We'll be stuck in 100 million degrees, but we are excited for our return guests, Matt and Dan of the Looney Bin podcast, who are in beautiful weather right now, to give us an updated preview of what we can hope for or expect this weekend. Welcome back, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming back.
We love talking about the weather in Minnesota, by the way.
Oh,
Don't I know
it's like
it?
my minor in college.
Yeah, we know it's only been 3 weeks, but both of our teams have played 6 matches since then. So I feel like it's one thing if it had been 3 weeks and nothing had changed, right? Oh,
Right.
2, 3 matches. But I don't know about y'all. The vibe is definitely different here in Austin than it was 3 weeks ago. It's a little combination of tired, a little combination of like, oh, things might actually be happening. How
We're so back.
yeah, exactly. We're in the we're so back era of the cycle of
Yeah.
it's over and we're
Yeah.
so back. So that's kind of how we're feeling right now on the cycle of it's over and we're so back. Where are y'all?
I think we're hoping that the edge of the cliff is not approaching like it did last year. So we're on
Yeah.
a slow incline into a good spot, hoping that the future only holds more positivity and not the June that we had last year, which I think was historically bad for Minnesota.
That was a low point for sure. But I think we're kind of in the early stages of the storm that's brewing right now. Like we're like, okay, we handled Miami. We did,
handily.
we did well in the Open Cup. We're just, can we keep it rolling is kind of where we're at.
Yeah, I think it helps when you score 6 goals against St. Louis in 2 matches, right? That must feel pretty good.
The goals are starting to come from more people. That's true. We were early in the year, it was only Tanny and Kelvin, and the Anthony Marcanic all of a sudden has 4 goals out of nowhere. One of them he scored in Austin. Goals are coming
And
from everywhere.
He showed us he's got a hell of a header.
Three header goals in the last 4 games for Anthony Marcanic. So yeah,
It's his thing.
the goals are coming from more places. The defense has still stayed mostly sound. The coach is expanding the use of the bench to hopefully stem the tide when we will be losing significant key players on this team for the Gold Cup international break here in basically after the end of May. So that's sort of where everyone has their eyes on Minnesota is the depth going to carry us and hold us up here at the top of the Western Conference? Has Coach Ramsey instilled enough confidence in the depth? That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, it looks like you are in your last 5, you've won 4 of those games, with the one loss coming against Houston at Shell Stadium, losing 2-0 there. We have heard that there's something going on with Kelvin Yeboah. Is he hurt? Is he just not performing? What's going on with your star striker?
Well, he did get rid of the goose egg last night in the Open Cup. He scored his first goal, I think, in 8 matches. He has had a lingering ankle. Took maybe 1 game off. There's been a transition from the early Ramsey Minnesota United system. We were playing with 2 forwards with Tanny and Kelvin, both starting side by side, very defensive, 32% possession for the game. They, in May, started to, partially because of that injury, play more of a 5-2-3-1, and getting Pereira and Load up higher behind Tanny, with Yeboah either coming off the bench or, if he was still dealing with the ankle, not playing. So his explosiveness has been sort of, you can just see he's not a step quicker than the defender, which he was almost all of last year and early this year. His explosiveness is down. His effort is still there. He wears his heart on his sleeve when he's on the field, no matter what, which means Coach Ramsey can't put him out there when he's 90% because he's going to hurt himself. So it is important that Yeboah get right for Minnesota United because Tanny is going Gold Cup with Canada. He's actually leaving right after our game at Seattle, June 1st. He's likely to miss 4 to 5 games. Canada's likely to do okay in that tournament and advance. So I think we'll stay with the 1 striker system with Tanny gone, and Kelvin is going to be key to our success as Tanny leaves, because a lot of the success recently has been happening with Tanny Oluwaseyi up top and Kelvin being the supporting striker.
Yeah, I gotta say that, like, for my fantasy best ball team, I'm really hoping that he takes like one more week and then starts like smashing it for y'all. Just take one more Saturday, low key, chill out. Maybe don't even play. keep him safe.
Yeah, on that point, like for Austin this weekend, are y'all expecting to see any rotation from the last time that we played y'all?
Oh, gosh, if I had to pull up the lineup, right, of who we actually played then in Houston, Ramsey rotated 8 starters, really almost just, I think it's about getting the minutes into the players who are going to be needed in June. And they really didn't compete in that game, unfortunately. Outside of that game, everything's been very, very positive. He, in the Open Cup last night on Wednesday, did rotate in some key spots, but also brought those key players back in the 65th minute or the 70th minute. There's definitely a handful of players who are probably not going to feature for sure, but Will Trapp didn't play in the Open Cup. He'll be out there. Tanny will be out there. He didn't start. Lode didn't start. Pereira didn't start. So I think Austin's going to get a pretty A lineup with a few key positions of players who have had maybe just too many minutes in their legs to go another one.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds a lot like the attacking band that we had to face last time when y'all put up 3 on us in our
house. We put 2 up and Stuver put 1 up for us.
That's fair. Yeah, that is very fair. Not a usual situation for us, and to that point, like, had already forgotten that the game happened the way that it had.
We're happy to remind you guys. Don't worry about it. We'll get you reminded.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
don't worry about it. Yeah, I think the big thing on our mind though is like Dan said, it's June, right? Because we had a horrible June, and that was like when I was contemplating like just giving it up on the sport. Not really, but you know what I mean. Like this is ridiculous that we're just going to get hammered while this nonsense is happening. Not that it's nonsense, but. So I think that's the biggest thing on our mind is, the literally the last Saturday in May. What are we going to do?
That sounds really good to me.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea that everyone is so focused on June that maybe this weekend your heads aren't quite in the match on Saturday. That sounds perfect.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to get a pretty good fight from Minnesota in this game. We do head to Vancouver midweek coming up and then stay Pacific Northwest for Seattle. And those are 2 sort of giants in the West.
Yeah.
I call them giants, but MLS
I would
the MLS version.
Call Vancouver a giant right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think the home game for Minnesota here in the I-35 Cup is going to be, they're going to prioritize it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I do have I have a question that's a little off the field.
Yes.
Maybe more of a Matt question.
Yes.
But
I
I'm so
chimed in right away. I dialed right in.
I'm so desperate to learn a little bit more about the online confidence that we've been seeing from Minnesota and the social media team, especially with that win against Miami and the David Beckham backlash. First of all, Pink Phony Club is iconic.
For the win.
Brilliant. Yeah.
For the win.
Iconic.
And having the social team pair up with your supporters groups and the
Tifo
was so good.
Gosh.
I think it was. I gotta give props to the social media team for I don't know if it was discussed beforehand that they're going to back him, but I think they just doubled down on the reaction and they're like, oh my gosh, Beckham was whining that quickly. Okay, David Beckham, anything involving David Beckham is you got to cash in on it, whatever side you get. Right? I mean, come on. The grown man is in charge of Miami and the most sensational team, and not in charge of, but stakeholder in, and he's whining over a tifo. Come on, dude! This was some guys and gals in the parking lot painting a poster. Like,
Yeah.
you
Right.
don't
We
show
did
your
this-
hand.
We did this in our free time.
Right. Like, some volunteers in Minnesota got under your skin. Like, yeah, we're going to go for that. I'm sorry. It's just going to happen. But yeah, props to them for that.
Once Orlando piled on,
Yeah.
right, after beating Miami, and like your social media team jumping back into it as well. Like,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just kind of like that sense of whimsy. I
Yeah.
think it's so much easier, right? And we see it with Austin FC too. It's so much easier when you're winning to have a little fun with your social media. But it's been so nice to see that, like, because that's what we need to
Mhm.
grow the game outside of the
Diehards,
folks like
sickos.
Dan and Mike,
Yeah.
right?
Took
like,
the words out of my mouth, Stephanie. Absolutely. This is the type of stuff that doesn't happen in the NFL. You don't
Yes.
see a team getting behind the tomfoolery that's going on. It's always my source of comparison for everyone who listens to our podcast. I came from the NFL. This is just beautiful. Like, I feel almost like when we used to go to the St. Paul Saints game, it was, that rinky-dink little hole in the wall stadium, and it's like they got a pig out there doing whatever. It's great. I love it.
yeah,
It was
the
just
connection, right?
Yeah,
To the community. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, they know that that volunteers made that tifo,
right.
and to just give them national props. I mean, it's beautiful. I loved every minute of it.
And obviously, winning the game is necessary to do that.
Yes.
And
yeah.
what we're really hoping for, because we can't really pile on anymore, but we want other fan groups to start singing Pink Phony Club when Miami walks out onto the field for practice, like to warm up for the game. Like, it needs to become
Catch on, yeah.
it needs to catch on beyond Minnesota United, and that's when I think it'll really feel complete.
Yeah.
I think there's some very fragile egos involved with the entire
What?
organization, and I think that most people are going to be on the side of poking the bear, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
Wait,
come on, guys.
in men's sports, fragile
Yeah.
egos?
Right,
No.
right. Especially these men on this team in particular, right? It's
Right.
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I just like I know we don't have a ton to talk about in terms of like updates just because we've all been busy, but it feels like we've kind of been, chugging along. And that was the biggest thing to me that happened since the last time we talked.
Naturally.
To you all. So thank you
We-
for letting me
Yeah,
indulge
absolutely.
Yeah, and then on the injury front, since the last time we played,
Okay, back to business.
is
Ugh.
anyone hurt? I'm sorry.
Fine.
Is anyone hurt? Is anyone coming off a knock? Like, what's going on? Is anyone coming back? Like, I don't know.
I got a knot in my shoulder,
Oh,
so I don't know.
geez.
I'm gonna be.
Same.
I might be on the
Oh, are
IR
you a
list.
day to day? You're
yeah. We'll see
questionable.
how it goes. Yeah,
Questionable
absolutely.
for Saturday. Back.
It's a good bill of health for Minnesota
Mm-hmm.
United. I mean, we signed Kip Keller, who you guys are familiar
Don't
with.
we know?
Yeah, I really wish you were healthy.
And he's
For
dealing
you.
with a long hamstring injury. Dotson's out, officially season-ending injury, and at the end of his contract. So Hassani Dotson's recovery year from a meniscus is going to be a big question mark for the league and for himself, obviously. It's a healthy team. Everyone has, Owen Jen is, you asked the question last time, like what kind of new player maybe to focus in on if you want to watch someone. And I think I said Nicholas Romero. And I remember watching when we did win at Austin, he had a really solid game. I think if Owen Jen plays in this, he's like a rangy French midfielder, 6'8" hybrid.
I thought
the
you
French have to
were
do anything
saying
with
he was
it.
6'8"
right. And I was like,
and I was like,
No.
oh, a 6'8" Frenchman. I'm moving back to Minnesota.
Wow, what the heck does the Frenchman have to do with anything?
It's just
that's
people
our-
like to know where
That's my type.
where they're
Yeah.
internationally.
Apparently.
I like to know if
Okay.
someone's French. I hope that this is a blanket statement. If someone is French, you need to disclose that.
yeah, it's legal.
Yeah.
If you are French, you have
know
to tell
someone's
me.
French. You have to tell me.
Yeah.
I'm going 6. I think he's 6'1", maybe 6'2" with a hat. But he's
Striped shirt.
He plays a
good
6'8"
young
hybrid.
he's a good young
I
player.
see.
The thing about Owen though, you're probably not going to see him. He went the full 90 coming back from an injury. in the Open Cup. So he was one of our guys that I was surprised to see him go 90, and I don't expect him unless he comes in at the very end of a tight game on Saturday.
Cool. Yeah, on the Austin front, for rotation, we have no idea. We have thought that maybe Nico would be more judicious with his subs, maybe subbing them out a little bit earlier in matches. So far, he's really run the guys about as far as they can go. Last night in the Open Cup, we saw a little bit of rotation with our midfield, starting a super young central defensive midfielder, Nico Dubersarski. Does that mean that we'll see our quote unquote full strength lineup in Minnesota? We have no idea. We've been dealing with injuries to a bunch of our players. And so because of that, our rotations haven't been there. We are kind of expecting, because it's an away game, because it's the 6,000th game in May, that we should see some rotation. But like, we were driving home from dinner talking about like, who do you rotate out?
Yeah. I don't know.
Like we have a senior roster of 17 players, so we're one under the minimum of 18. We have 4 open supplemental roster slots, so like we don't even have like young guys to fill in behind that. So what's
going on in Austin with this roster build, I think, is the big question.
Patience is what our sporting director Rodolfo Burrell has been saying is, I'm not going to make panic signings. I'm not going to sign a player just to sign a player. But
well, I think at this point with that many openings, you're kind of like, you kind of need to get some
right.
bodies on the bench.
Yeah. Every MLS team needs MLS proven minute eaters.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's unfortunate you don't have that. I did see the rumor though about the new number 6 for you guys, Nikki Beloco.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that doesn't get a fan base excited than a rumor of a signing, right?
And this guy's celebration is a 10 out of 10 for SWOONTOWER. He does
what is it?
Oh, is that what the Mike tagged me in a Blue Sky video the other day and said finally, and I assumed it was backflips, but I also didn't have the patience to watch a 2-minute video. So I
totally
meant
understand.
to ask him about that, but I'm glad you did it on the air.
2 minutes is unreal. That's an unrealistic expectation.
Right. You're right.
It should have been breaking news. Austin signing does a backflip. Then I would have been like, hell yeah, I know why you tagged me in this.
Yeah, I have to do the same thing with Matt. I have to lead in with why I'm sending him the clip. He's not just going to watch it.
Yeah.
Between Dan and my wife will send me like 3-minute TikTok and I'll start it like, absolutely not. Next. Like, not. Come on.
Too many minutes of my life.
Have you met me? No.
All right. So what is your expectation of Saturday?
Given what you're saying and how I look at the rotation that we have had coming from the Houston game into the 2 St. Louis games, I expect a number 1 lineup for Minnesota in this home game before they travel and probably rotate away. And if you guys are really feeling like you have all those minutes, this Minnesota United has some good vibes going right now. The comeback in the Open Cup included. I just think coming into this building at Allianz with Minnesota feeling the way they do with the studs they have who are playing well, it's going to be an uphill climb for Austin. I think it would be a big letdown for Coach Ramsey to not walk out with all 3 points in this one.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you,
right?
Even our scrubs will be getting the job done in Minnesota this weekend.
I mean, it's MLS. It is MLS.
That's right. Never bet.
Can happen.
Never bet MLS. Matt, I know you're pretty new. Never. Don't do it. No matter how tempting.
The stuff I've seen in just my second year, it's just nuts. It's still crazy to me, like how much of the game is subjective. Dan and I were talking about that the other day. It's like, it's mostly a gray area until it's not, and then they get particular, and then they're not again, and then We were
Awesome.
watching. What game was it? I was watching with my dad, and there was like 5 minutes of stoppage time, and the ref just called it like 4.5. And my dad's like, "What the hell just happened?" I'm like, "Oh, they've proven they're not going to do anything. Like whatever."
It's over.
It's over. It's all
Yeah,
done.
it's like we're done.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, y'all, thank you so much for coming back on, for having a good time and not rubbing it in our faces. The scoreline from the last time we met. We will promise to do the same when we meet again.
Yeah. Before we close it out, I do want to give an update on where we are at in the I-35 Cup.
Oh yes.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Austin has 3 points against Sporting Kansas City in the first match of the season. Y'all have 4 points against Sporting Kansas City with that draw in the snow game. And then, of course, the unfortunate incident in Austin this year. We will see after Saturday where we stand.
How many
love
points
it.
does Kansas City have?
They got the one from our draw.
Yep.
So here, we were talking about the wayside rest stops as an idea of finding a trophy. My thought bubble is get an old Interstate 35 sign that's no longer in use and have a metal worker turn it into a cup.
Oh,
I
I
love
love
that.
that.
And then we mail it to each other.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Can I assign that to you guys?
You might be able to assign that to us in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We will connect offline on that. Right now, our house is a literal warehouse because we are putting on a free Shakespeare in the Park show, which if you are listening on Friday or Saturday, there's still time to get your tickets online to come out and watch the Lisa Frank versus Tim Burton version of Henry VI Part 1.
Oh my God.
Universally, Shakespeare's worst play.
We're
If
we're buying plane tickets.
Yeah, if I didn't have like just dad duty this weekend, as I indicated earlier, yeah, I'd be coming down to Austin. If I was a single man without responsibilities, I'm there for it.
I-35, here we come.
Yeah. From. It's great for kids too. So just saying, put them in a
Yeah.
van.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah.
that just sparked terror in me already. Ugh.
Drive 25 hours in a van with kids to take them to a Shakespeare show. I dare you.
We'd get to Lakeville and I'd turn around. Minnesota reference.
Yeah, 20 minutes out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well,
You can find our guests. Oh, yeah. Smart. Let them do it themselves.
Oh, well, loonybinpod@gmail.com, loonybinpod.com. Find us on Blue Sky, anywhere you listen to your podcasts, you'll find us, the Looney Bin Podcast. Thanks for having us, guys.
amazing. Thanks for coming back.
Great to see you guys again. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much to Dan and Matt again for coming on to talk to us about Minnesota this weekend. We're hopeful.
We're going to win.
Period.
We're going to win.
All right.
We're never losing again.
Okay. You want to know who's the man in my jersey this week?
Yes.
Are you going to be surprised?
I don't know. It depends on who you write there.
It's Julio Cascante.
Oh, boy.
Okay, here's the thing.
What is the thing?
Julio didn't have a great, amazing game last night.
I mean, he amazed me.
But when he did his little dance backwards and then he kind of tripped
The
a
karate
couple
kick?
times and then he did a couple other things that were like maybe a reason that people are frustrated with his playing. I looked over at my good friends and I said, "Are you having fun?" And they all said, "Yeah." And I said, "That's what he's doing for you. He's giving you the joy and the entertainment and things to talk about. He's putting his whole body on the line for you, and you should appreciate it. And also, he's very handsome, and that's why he's the man of my jersey."
Wow. All right. If you like this episode, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. Tell all your friends.
Tell your enemies.
You don't have to say it if you don't want to.
Oh, tell your mom.
And sign up for the Patreon.
Yeah, go do that.
Patreon.com/MoonTowerSoccer. Get a sweet neckerchief. Neckerchief sounds so ancient.
Bandana.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I couldn't find the word.
Yeah. It's been a long night.
Do it, though. They're so dope.
Yeah, they are. All right, y'all. We love you.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
I will marry Chewy's.
Yeah.
Because they love Chupa Boom sauce.